Is this thing on?
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay. Let's try that again.
Welcome.
I'm Dax Shepard, and I'm joined by.
That's exactly right. That's right. Welcome to the Coffee and Carving Show, episode number 92, 3.
92 and a half, everybody.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Yeah,
another week has passed.
indeed it has. I don't like how quickly this one went by either. Too quickly. Way too quickly.
It's just a blur. I can't believe we're mid-December.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
What have you been up to, man?
I have been doing Christmas things that have kept me very busy.
Yep.
Not things that I look forward to, but things that I have to do. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I get
But-
that.
but yeah, otherwise, a little bit of carving, not a lot of carving.
Mhm.
You know what I did do?
Hmm.
I remember that I did that Santa Claus a while ago, and the
Yep.
aspen stick. I
Mhm.
painted it up, and I tried something a little bit different. I painted it, and then I stained the whole thing.
Oh,
After.
cool.
So it's kind of a rusticy.
I couldn't
Look,
see it at first. This thing was blocking the second half of it. Yeah, that is cool.
I kind of like it.
Wow.
The stain just gave it a real nice subtle antiquing. So
Yeah, I like the depth on his beard. The finish.
I'm not
That's
going to be
cool.
afraid to do that again. That was nice. So that's a very light, like I think it was a provincial, was the color. So
Mhm.
kind of like a golden oak-ish stain.
Right.
Yeah, I did that. And then no videos this week whatsoever. I was all ready to do a video. I was doing these little teeny tiny little snowmen,
Mm-hmm.
and I carved a bunch of them up. But I went on the internet and on my
Post.
Pinterest, and someone else's thumbnail popped up with almost the same snowmen.
Oh,
Right when I was ready, like I realized there's nothing new under the sun, but doggone, it was so close to this other guy's, and I said, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." And that was kind of fun. I had them looking,
I love the
different
turned
ways.
head.
Yeah. So they're kind of looking at each other.
And the different colors. I like the scarves too.
Yeah.
Those are a nice pop of color. Really fun.
Yeah. So I scrapped that video.
Oh, you forgot white. You have red, white, and then you went yellow on accident. It's supposed to be red, white, and blue.
No, that's
But-
silly. That's silly.
America, baby.
That's I should put stars on the tie too, right?
Right.
The scarf.
Right.
But anyway, I scrapped that, but not fully because I've decided. Anyway, let's talk about that because
Mhm.
I was all frustrated. This is like Friday night at midnight,
Mhm.
and Saturday morning I was going to make the video, and I said screw it, and I came down here and I cleaned up my whole shop,
Yeah. Nice.
and kind of a reset. It was kind of nice.
Mhm.
You've been here before. Remember, I
Mhm.
had that big timber over in the corner here as a secondary stand-up carving area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I realized I never really used it. I always reverted back to here.
Yeah.
So I rebuilt. I don't know if you can see that or not. I rebuilt this whole area here.
Yep.
I put my my workbench with the vices. Built it right in. I used that big timber on the back.
Yeah.
And then I put the heavy timber 2x8 in the front.
Yeah.
And and then I built these little shelves with magnets so that when I'm working, I don't have... They just fell.
Avalanche.
Bunch of carvings just jumped off the shelf.
Yeah.
So I rebuilt this so that while I'm carving, I can just keep my tools right there and not knocking all over and drop it on the floor. So
Sure.
I built these shelves on each side and rebuilt. Anyway, I was quite tickled.
Nice.
So, and then I just went crazy and just cleaned up the whole. It was such a mess.
When did you do
So
this?
that was Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, so the week prior, I never mentioned it, but the week prior to that, I did something kind of similar. I added an extra 3 inches of 2x4 wood to the
Oh,
top and bottom
to
to
bring
get
it out.
to bring it out, to
Yep.
get it easier to move around. But
Oh,
but that also gives me a lot of room for extra shelving or storage for the
that's
tools,
hilarious.
right?
The guy had the same ideas.
Yeah, right. And we hadn't talked about it at all,
No, not at all.
right?
But
I didn't even think about it.
I really wanted to keep that beam in the workshop because I really like it. So then I just used that, and I like that the heavy 2x8 on the front. It's all rough cut wood from the sawmill,
Yeah, cool.
and yeah, but I like having that vise built right in too, so
Mhm.
that everything is tied to the wall. So even that whole workbench, you can't shake it for nothing. Like
Right.
it's everything is just solid.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's. But anyway, that and then cleaning everything, it just gave me a total reset, and I
Yep.
wasn't angry anymore about my snowman.
Yeah.
And then I just started back again, and I decided it's not all lost because I had done
Yeah.
a tall dowel snowman
Mhm.
a while back when I was doing the dowel series. And I
Yeah.
thought, I'm going to go ahead. These aren't done at all. I just started working on these again. But I'm going to do the same idea, only use make like tall snowmen
Hmm.
with the base so that they stand nice again. But
Mm.
yeah, so I'm just going to use the same idea, only just stretch them and
Right.
make them nice and tall. And that's
Mhm.
different. That's different enough.
Yeah.
So, and I like them. I like the tall, skinny Santas, or snowmen. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
But otherwise, that is about it. I took myself to the carving store yesterday
Hmm.
and got to fondle a bunch of tools and wood and stuff. But otherwise, that's about it. Just working in
Yeah.
Christmas dues. So
I mean, Annalise and I were talking about this. Like, Christmas takes up so much time. It just, even if your job, I know your job kind of pertains to the church, but even just being a part of a church, attending and being involved like I am. I mean, there's a Christmas party for everything that you're involved in.
yes,
There's a
yep,
Christmas party for the youth. There's a Christmas party for the young adults. There's a Christmas party for the adults. There's a
yep.
Christmas party for the Christmas party. It's like,
We have a lunch to go program for like the homeless and needy people, and they get a Christmas meal. Then we
yep,
have a whole hamper drive that we have to do.
to heck
Like
with them. That's what I say.
I think we're
To heck
doing
with
like
them all.
40 or 50 of these Christmas hampers, like a whole Christmas grocery basket, like just loaded with the Christmas meal,
What a
and
waste.
the Christmas shoe boxes. You guys do shoe boxes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the whole shoe box. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many things, but
We absolutely do. Yeah. You see guys walking with those boxes on the way to church for like 2 weeks straight.
yeah.
And then, and then there's a play, the Christmas play that you have to go see at the other church.
Oh yeah,
the big
and then
church.
I got a kid in high school. Tomorrow night is
Mhm.
the Christmas concert.
Yep. Oh,
It's
they
going to be
keep
the worst.
coming too. There's another one. I'm going to another one next week. Another Christmas play.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people out there coming up with, they're just their sole thing in life around this time is to come up with things to do.
Yeah, but whatever, right?
Wow.
I always say I'm happiest the 1st of January.
We should call this one "I Hate Christmas."
Christmas sucks.
Christmas sucks. But
Does it? Yeah, I am a little grinchy, but
you
I
are.
don't know. I am. I always have been, I guess. But
At
I
least
don't
you
know.
said it, not me.
Yeah, no, it's true. I do enjoy
I couldn't put my finger on it, but yeah, I would say that's a good word to describe you.
Grinchy. I do enjoy carving Santa Clauses, though.
Right. For a Grinch, that's pretty
Right.
surprising.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a Grinch somewhere around here too.
Actually, speaking of being a Grinch, I want to see that. You should pull it out. But speaking of being a Grinch, I've banished my carving assistant to the porch right now. It's like 30 degrees. and he's out there carving alone in the cold. It's almost dark. I mean, it's like, I mean, he's got a, the kid's got a nice view. So
Well, that's
it'll be
okay
fun.
because I kicked my whole family out of my house after last week.
Oh yeah, people were like, Doug, great podcast. Love you. Love your work.
Yeah,
Hope
yeah,
you feel better. You look
that's-
great. Alec, turn that dang noise down or something.
That's right.
Like, it wasn't even me.
Yeah,
It wasn't
Yeah.
even me.
they just expected it to be you, I guess. Eh?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well, it
funny.
makes sense. The young one, they expect me to be the young, reckless, noisy guy.
Who was I listening to? A professional podcast, like not this, like a real and all
Yeah.
kinds of noise. And they were talking about the construction next door and upstairs. Like, see, it's just life. It's just
It's
life.
life.
Get over it.
Yep.
You get what you pay for, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
A little bump here and there didn't kill nobody.
All right. Yeah.
So,
And just to be clear, by the way, folks, that bump that you heard earlier, that was Doug. That was Doug's bumps.
that's right. That's
That
right.
avalanche of wood carvings that you heard. That-
I've turned my furnace off. I've turned my
Right.
water pump off. I mean,
Mhm. So I don't want to
Okay.
hear it from any of you punks out
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
Leave me the heck alone.
enough already.
We're all sick of Cardinal on you.
What do you got there?
A school project. It's very heavily based on your the thought is one by one, which I believe, didn't you do yours out of one by one?
I didn't mind on a dowel, but I'm going to redo it on the 1x1. But that's not nowhere near the same.
Right. Well, it was the thought. I didn't watch your video, but I was inspired by your idea, and I wanted to turn it into an ornament. And so
Okay. I was going to say, how does it stand?
it's
folks,
just an
we have
ornament.
a very our you think that we're looking what you see, but it's very blurry. But I can see the side. I can see the side. That's a good looking cardinal.
It's a monkey cardinal. Anyway, so the idea was I went through Pinterest and looked at all the versions of it that have been done on there, and I wanted to do something because I've had tons of people recently be like, need more beginner content, not enough beginner content, and so I thought, what can I do that's Christmas that I haven't done? I've done elves, I've done Santas. I mean, I have the conundrum that you have. Yeah. I love those. And I thought, a cardinal. That's a quintessential Christmas bird.
Yep.
And it's knife only, so that's on the school. And it's supposed to be a little bit of a nod to realism, but then the flat plane style as well. So
I'm with you. I'm with you. I was
Fun.
doing these Santa Clauses, I keep saying Santa Claus. I was doing these snowmen, and then the little guys. I took out. I think I took out a little gouge just to kind of hollow out the scarf and stuff.
yeah,
And then I started doing these big ones. I'm like, no, knife only.
yep.
I don't know. There's something about knife only work. I love it.
What is it? I can't remember the specific saying, but there's an idea out there that's something to the effect of, more is less, and or less is more rather, and more is less.
That's the minimalist theme. Yeah.
Yeah, less is more, and then also, when you limit yourself, like a lot of what discipline is, or creativity is like limiting yourself. Giving yourself constraints.
Yep.
And there's something that I swear that when I finished this beginner project for the school, I had more satisfaction
I know.
coming from this 30-minute carving than I did way more than this, way more than that,
Like-
way more than the big busts, the it's like, what is that? What's wrong with us?
I don't know, but I can give you another example. I built houses my whole life. Like since I was 15 years old, I've been building houses, right?
Right.
And the first time I bought a 1/4-inch sheet of plywood,
Yeah.
and I made what was called the OSS. It was the one sheet skiff, a little rowboat out of one
Yeah.
sheet of plywood.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, after building staircases and mantles and fireplaces and all the trim work and everything, the silly little 1/4-inch boat, the way that you cut the wood and the way that you folded it, bent it together, was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And everybody's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? You build houses. But it's true.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
simple little things are the best. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, another example of this is I'm at an open mic night last night, and everyone's playing these beautiful songs, and these, people have backtracks and they're singing and they're playing their instruments, piano, guitar, bass, all this. And then this kid shows up with this instrument that has two strings, and he's all decked out. He's got his snakeskin boots on. He's got this crazy corduroy jacket, this wicked looking hat, and he shows up. He looks goofy and cool at the same time, and he pulls up there with this weird instrument and a bow, like two strings, and he goes there and he starts going like talking about Gregorian chants or like Buddhist chant, and he goes up there and makes the strangest. I have to pull this up. And everyone, I tell you what, there were two notes that came from that entire performance.
Everybody's glued to him.
The audience, which formerly had been erupting with conversation, was dead silent. Just totally engaged. And I don't even know what to call this, but this is what the kid was doing. The whole time. That's all I did. Wow. It was awesome. So I guess maybe that is evidence of what we're talking about. That just two notes, everyone's captivated.
There's a band. Oh, I can't think of what the name is. Oh, but they add a little bit of heavy metal with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's called the. Oh,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's Mongolian, I think.
Yep. And
it's a heavy metal. Oh, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, The Who? Is that the one?
Yes, 100%. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Same thing. The guitars or whatever they are have like three strings on them.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's so fun.
It's all
so cool.
That throat singing and stuff too. So. Yeah.
I spent the rest of the night trying to do that. My poor wife.
It almost feels evil. So but anyway.
I'm gonna read all the comments in that voice. By the way, somebody brought up what happened. Was Alec banished from reading the whatever the questions in accent?
But anyway, back to your knife only though. Like that flat plane style, there's something to it. I just keep going back to it. I mean, I start with Gene. That's how I started.
Yep.
I did that for a few years. Thought I needed more. Did more and more and more and different stuff, adding more tools and stuff. And now I'm going back, and I just love just the knife.
That was Doug, by the way. I just dropped some. He just dropped something. That was him.
But imagine if you were just a knife carver. All you need is a strop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like
a pencil, a strop, piece of wood, a knife.
Yep. So simple.
Yep. That's it. A Dremel, 15 or 20 gouges, sharpening system, bandsaw. That's it. A table with adjustable height. A few things. That's it.
I cleaned out my tools on the wall and around here.
Yeah.
I have a whole filing cabinet drawer full of tools that I just put out of sight. And I figure in a few months, if I don't ever think of them again, I'm just going to move them on.
Mm-hmm. So. And it's funny, like there's all of this stuff that people focus on with carving, who's doing what and this and that and this and the fancy tools and all the gear and all this stuff, wood and all that. And still the most important thing, if you can narrow in on one thing, it is still sharpening. That's it. I mean, if you have I don't think there's anything that dissuades people from carving more than dull tools.
Well, or the perception of their wood is too hard, but they really have dull tools.
Right. That's a good point too.
I made a whole video about basswood, where to buy your basswood, and I'm still getting the same comments. I bought mine off Amazon. It was hard as a rock and all this stuff. And I'm like,
it's the tools, guys. Doug's tools are crazy sharp.
Like
my tools are crazy sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like I could carve, I mean, it wouldn't be as easy, but I could carve walnut.
Right.
without the chew marks that some people have. Like,
Yep.
sharpen your tools. Learn to sharpen. That's
Yep.
critical.
Stop
Critical.
carving. Stop carving right now. If you even have a question about whether your tools are sharp or not, stop carving for a day and spend the time you would be sharpening.
I have perhaps I might even have a stropping obsession.
Yeah.
I
Right.
sometimes, like, especially hand stropping, if I'm just using a knife,
Is
I
that
would
why I
rather,
always see you like impulsively kind of like itching weird parts of your face in the middle of talking to you about carving stuff? You're
like, I
like,
have
oh,
all the,
I need to strap. I need to strap.
I have all the power stropping, but if I'm just using a knife, I prefer to just grab my little strop here,
Hmm.
and it's just as relaxing to
Right.
strop your knife as the
Right.
carving. So, but
Yeah.
yes, don't even start a project unless your knife is stropped, ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So we went off on a little tangent there, but what have you been up to other than your cardinal? That cardinal's going into school, you say?
yeah. So that's a beginner project. There's a whole host of new people who have joined.
Mm-hmm.
And, the majority of people are not like you and I. They haven't been carving for a long time. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the difference is between a chisel and a gouge. And they want simple. And so, that's not the goal of the school. It's not because there's YouTube videos out there, but they should be able to find stuff to give them knife skills, to give them basic, this is a project that I involved the V tool on optionally. I pulled it out and said, "Oh, if you don't want to do this, here's
Yeah,
what you can,
yeah.
here's how you can do it with the V tool." But
Oh,
but still,
there's no doubt. There's a place for a V tool,
oh, for
but
sure,
especially when it comes to hair and stuff. It's pretty
totally.
fiddly with the knife, but
Oh yeah, no, you don't want to be doing hair with it with a knife, if you can avoid it, But yeah, and so it was nice to be able to put that out there. It won't get the same reaction from the class that the other stuff. Doug, it's Doug.
my dogs
Just,
are having a canary upstairs. It's
look, I'm
just me
muting
and
my
the
microphone.
dogs. No, they quiet down.
See, people will think, oh, I'm just obsessed with proving it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's all. That's it. So, but yeah, and then as far as like projects going late this week, it was nice to have this going because I've kind of got, as far as bark carvings go, hairier stuff. Like this one was really fun to start, but then it got to be a little bit hairier to clean. Like the cleanup, the tightening process was kind of hairier than usual because of this big crack and all the little
Yeah.
undercuts and stuff. So, but it was fun, and I'm glad I did it. I enjoyed it. And then I was working on another carving for a customer. They wanted very specific. I don't know what it is that gets in people's heads, but he had this, very specific dimension in mind for it. It has to be 24 inches long. And I thought it would be really fun to do it in a different piece of wood, but he's like, nope, it's not long enough. It needs to be 24 inches. So what I'm guessing he has like a specific spot for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. The point is I've got this big old long 24 inch or 23 and a half inch art carving going behind me with all these oak leaves. And this is, hilariously, this is like 2.5 hours worth of carving, which is really good for me. Like that's cooking, right? But it took me an entire day to get to this point because you can guess why. I was filming it.
Oh yeah.
And the cards ran out of storage, so I had to transfer it to the computer hard drive, and the hard drive was full, so I had to transfer to the bigger hard drive, and that took about 2 hours. So then I have another project going in the meantime that I'm filming with my phone because my phone has storage, and then I come back, and it's like the whole day is just piddled away.
See, it seems like such a wonderful idea to be a full-time woodcarver, and I do believe it is.
Yeah.
But it's still a job.
What was it? I think it was Michelangelo that said, if the average person, who sees my work and thinks that it's incredible, saw what my daily life looks like, they would no longer think it beautiful anymore. Like it would be tainted. The amount of work that I have to do to produce the work that I produce,
Yeah.
the artwork, it would taint the way people see it. They wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That's a big statement.
don't get me wrong. I would rather do my work at 10 o'clock in the morning than at 10 o'clock at night. That would be, but
Right.
yeah,
Right. Yep. And so, yeah, I don't necessarily feel that way because I think Michelangelo held himself to such a standard that, I mean, he would have been, put like some crazy hardworking entrepreneur, that we all look up to in the business world, like Elon Musk, put him in the body of Michelangelo, and or an artist. I'm sorry, put him in the body of an artist, and you get Michelangelo. I mean, you get like this dedication. That guy slept in his boots, never took his boots off. There were
yeah,
reports of this skin on his boots, like attaching. So when he pulled his boots off, it was like a big gross exposed. Ugh. Anyway,
nice.
so that's as much fun as that is to talk about. I'm just I'm working on that again. I started this other little. She's gone now. She just a female face. She's on the floor, and the cardinal, and then today working on kind of a fun new idea that I'm stoked about. That I won't probably announce yet. I'll probably announce it next week because I want to make sure and flesh it all out first. But yeah. But yeah, so I spent the day doing that. No carving today at all. So
Fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's nice to have a little secret project to think about and mull over.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And just tons of, like we talked about in the beginning, like Christmas party after Christmas play and
see,
Christmas this and that.
I have learned probably in the last even year or so
Mhm.
when to shut up. Sometimes you talk and talk, and then you're all excited in the moment, and you got this great plan, and then the more you talk about it, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So, or you
Mhm.
gave away your idea, and
Yeah.
then the surprise is gone. So not
Yeah.
not necessarily the carving, but I mean it's nice to have something that you can mull over and just to entertain your brain even.
Yeah.
So,
Phil Knight, founder of Nike, talks about that. Don't talk about your big ideas because
oh,
it psychologically you activate the same part of your brain talking about your idea as you do doing
doing it, yeah, yeah,
doing it. Right.
yeah. If you knew how many Gmail accounts I've created in the last 10
Yep.
years, it's kind
Yeah. Exactly.
of all these new ideas and
I
yeah,
keep one of mine. One of my emails is God's granola.
yeah, yeah,
It's like it was just some harebrained business I had when I was 16. I'd rather not even talk about.
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's
Well,
it.
that's it. Uh, what was I gonna say? The cardinal.
Mhm.
How tall is that?
It's 4.25.
Oh,
It's pretty big actually for a whittle.
yeah. No, it's I like it
Can I
though.
see?
But
Can I see yours again? I meant to look closer at that when you pulled it out earlier, since it's a video show. Yeah, that's cool. I
so
love the angle.
I turned it the
Turned head.
head
Yeah.
because I couldn't get the beak because I was using a dowel.
Mm.
So I couldn't have a straight head. I had to use inside the dowel.
Hmm.
So as I don't know how it's gonna when I get to the one by one. I'm not sure how. I kind of like that look anyway,
I do too.
but it'll probably be a little bit bigger with a one by one. For
Yep.
example, this was the snowman. This was a dowel, right?
Hmm.
A 1 inch dowel, and already there's a little bit more size to the one by one,
Right.
even though it's a 1 inch dowel,
Yeah.
right? Because
Right.
you got the corners, and
Hmm.
you can stretch it a little bit using the corners. So
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And so, yeah, the one snowman I did was like 2 inches, I think, and it was kind of a lot of work to rough out without a saw. Just kind of chewing at it all day. It's not the. I think the one by one is great for knife stuff because a lot
I
of
was
the
just gonna
material is
say,
already.
yeah, very
Yeah.
minimal removal.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what knife you have; it's very minimal. You don't need a big hogger.
Right.
So some of these are just taking corners off and it's
Mhm.
done. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
anyway, I want to say thank you, and you want to also, to Glennis Riley, or Glenny's, Grams Forte, I think, Grams
hmm.
Forte, Matt Haggis, Mr. Martin, and Ken Thomas, who bought us all coffees. It was a fabulous coffee week. So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
5 people. That's Christmas came early.
That's a big deal.
Yep. So we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yep. And I'm over here frantically hitting the cheer on the media button here, the cheering noise, but it won't come through. So
Uh
in about 10 minutes, we should hear some random cheering.
oh.
But yeah, we do appreciate it. And in fact, you paid for the coffee that I drank this morning. It's evening now. What am I saying? This evening.
Mailbag.
We got a big bale of mag for you guys. Let's get into it.
Right off the bat, I gotta say something. James just emailed us today,
Mm-hmm.
and he did my caricature moose, which I did the bear
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago, and I'm going to do the moose. But I was going to do the moose differently. James, if you're watching this, you absolutely nailed it. James took the moose and drilled in, added the antlers to the side, and that was exactly what I was going to do with the
Cool.
1x1.
Nice.
Every time you see like a Bullwinkle picture or whatever, the antlers just come outside and kind of point up, because
Yeah.
these are very weak antlers on that moose, and I wanted to do something a little bit better. And what he did is exactly what I was thinking. It's hilariously
Cool.
exact. So it must be like when you search Pinterest or something, it's very common to see those side antlers coming out, and
Yep.
he nailed it. Beautiful.
Cool.
But he has a question, and his question is, do you change what kind of wood finish you use depending on what you're doing with the carving? For example, since this carving I made as a gift, I decided to put a clear coat finish on it instead of waxing it, since clear coat is more permanent while waxing needs to be reapplied over time, which the recipient probably will never do.
Mm-hmm.
What say you, Alec?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Of course. Yeah. I mean, the finish on a carving is as much or more function as aesthetic or visual. Like I don't add finish to a carving because I like the way it looks. Ever. I much prefer the natural look of a piece of wood without anything on it. And so, yeah, you naturally, you adjust based on the environment. If the carving is going to be indoors, you can go with something like a lacquer, because lacquer doesn't, have a problem with, a little bit of a change in humidity or a little bit of rough housing. But, if you drop it, it might strengthen the fibers, but it's not going to protect it from the environment. So outdoors, you would never use that. You'd use a spar urethane. You would use, some really rowdy exterior poly or something. So, yeah, of course you think about the wood finish and the application. I don't do a lot with wax for that reason, because I think most of the time waxing is something that's ongoing. Like I think of wax as something, number one, it attracts dust like no one's business, and number two, it's like you can't expect someone to every few months re-wax their wood carving. And so I almost never play with it. If I do, I'll use a little bit of shoe polish, but even that I haven't done that in quite a while. Mostly just stick to the poly.
Well, this is where we differ,
Mm-hmm.
because if I knew one was leaving the house or not, I would still probably it'd probably have two coats of boiled linseed oil.
But linseed oil, that's different. That hardens.
Yeah,
that's a good
but
finish.
It is, but I also will put a little feed and wax just to soften it a little bit.
Sure.
and
Sure.
I just like the feel of the feed and wax, which is a little bit of a beeswax mix.
Sure.
But yeah,
Right. But it's
so
sealed. But it's
oh
sealed. That's
yeah,
the
it's
main thing.
sealed, but it does collect dust. Like I have a shoe brush that like once a year, even especially here. I mean, everything here gets so dusty and dirty that I just take my shoe
Yeah.
brush and because once you get that feed and wax into your brush, you're never getting it out. So I have a dedicated feed and wax shoe brush, and it holds
Right.
enough that I can clean up a carving without even adding any. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
That makes sense.
Tabitha wants to know on the bark carvings that you both do, what grit sandpaper do you use, or does it depend on the carving?
Do you want to answer that?
Uh, I just do a very light, like maybe a 220.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sand to remove. I just sand to soften features, right?
Right.
But yeah, I don't go higher than 220. I don't really go lower. I just do it to just smooth out some areas.
Yep.
But I know you have you do a few different things. You have been playing with rifflers and files.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed,
Yeah.
which is kind of a way of sanding as well.
Yep.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the real advantage to using a file as opposed to sandpaper, there's really only one major. Well, there's two. There's two major advantages, but the biggest one is it's easier to control a file or a rasp or a riffler than to control floppy paper, right? Like you can roll up the paper, you can try and stiffen it, and you can do pretty well with that, like articulating it into different areas and accommodating shapes, crooks, and crannies. But with the rasp or the riffler, it's stiff and strong, and it acts like a tool, and you can accentuate the strong shapes that you want to accentuate and soften the soft ones that you don't want to. So it gives you a little bit more versatility, and the other thing is it doesn't deposit little granules of sand or silica or whatever, whatever aluminum dioxide, whatever it is. It's much easier to switch back and forth between a file and a tool because you don't have to go back and polish your tools quite as much. But yeah, I still use sandpaper. But what I've noticed is, it's like what all those old wood carvers would say to me as a teenager, and I didn't really listen to, is true. Yeah, save your sanding for later in the project if you can. Like,
Yep. And what's your go-to grit?
it doesn't really matter. I mean, I try to stay in the 220. Yeah, it's really not of much use to go a lot higher than 220 or say 320 or whatever it is, 340, whatever they call it. But,
Yeah, I use 220.
Yep.
But here's something we can talk about. That's
Yeah.
me. I made noise.
That was Doug.
That's me.
Doug.
Not all sandpaper is created equal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something I learned from you is when you're using your sandpaper, you can shape it. You can make little cones, and make little points of your sandpaper and using it fully. But I've been using this 3M paper.
That's the one.
It has a waxy paper on the back, so it's not prone to. So as a trim carpenter, all my life I've used regular garnet sandpaper, whatever it is, with a paper back.
Mm-hmm.
And after you use that, as soon as you squish the paper a couple times, like you're creasing the sandpaper, the grit's falling out. It's all it's used up before it needs to be. So.
Right.
This really holds it all together nice. So I really like that 3M paper. So
Yep, I'm with you.
you can buy whole sheets at the dollar store, like little books of it, and it's just you get exactly what you pay for.
The only other thing there's other things worth mentioning. There's Abernet or Abernet, whatever you want to call it. I don't use it very much, but people love it. They harp on it a lot. But this is a sandpaper made by this is called Pure Gold. I mean, I'm not affiliated with any of these guys, but so I'll mention the brands. But this is called Pure. Is it Duragold? I'm sorry, Duragold. It's hard to read, but it's a sticky backed sandpaper. It comes in big rolls, and I like that. I like using this because it's a little bit easier to roll up because let's give you a little demo here. Because it's sticky on the back, it holds its shape
Yep.
and so I don't have to hold it in place. It's going to
Okay.
stick to itself.
Yep. Yep.
And
That's
that.
fun. And honorable mention goes to this these, I call it Scotch-Brite sandpaper, but it's not. It's actual sanding
Yep.
sponge material. I don't know. I don't have a cover to tell you exactly the name of it, but it's
Yeah.
always with the sandpaper. But it's just like a like a like a dish cleaning
Mhm.
rag, but it does a real nice job just for a final little soft sanding.
Yeah. Not the best on bark, but yeah, most other things you can do, other woods you can use it on. Good results. So
All right, now Mark, this is our grand finale. Has a question for both of us, so I'll go first. Doug, after watching almost all your videos, I noticed that you don't put out 2 or 3 part videos, and wondered why. You often say in your videos that you're hurrying because you don't want viewers to get bored. If you break up a video into 2 parts of 20 to 30-minute segments each, I don't think anyone would get bored. That would make it easier for someone like me to use the videos as tutorials. Just a thought. So, I do have a reason why I don't do that. If you ever see anyone who has put out a 3-part video, people will watch the beginning of part 1 and the conclusion. The middle videos won't get half the views, in my experience of the past. So, because not everybody wants the full tutorial, they just want to watch you work or see what comes out of your work.
Yep.
And it's always the first and last videos that get people the views. So
Right.
I would rather keep it. And it's also, I'm celebrating the fact that we can make hour-long videos now, whereas
Right.
when I started making videos,
That was me. I'll admit
that
it.
was you. That's Alec. We need a little scorecard here.
Yeah. It's
But,
4-1. It's 4-1, by the way.
when I started-
I'm not keeping track though. I'm not like that.
But it's 4-1.
But it's 4-1 currently.
When I started
where
making
we're at.
videos, you couldn't make over a 10-minute video,
Wow.
so-
Oh right, yeah, I remember that
right?
with YouTube. That was
Yeah.
When was that?
I don't know. I don't know what channel it even was. This channel that I have now, I started in 2015. But remember,
Right.
I had a bushcraft channel
Yep.
since like 2011 or 12, and I deleted it. So,
That's awesome. Yep.
but so
Okay.
that's my reason. I don't have. I know Gene still has lots of makes many part videos, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know how that works out for him. But for me, I'd rather just have one video.
Mhm. Right.
Alec, or do you have anything to add to that? Would you ever
Do I?
would you make a 3-part video?
I do
guess-
live streams. Sometimes I'll do like I did this past couple weeks ago. I did like a juniper carving in
that's right.
3 parts,
Yep.
and those all did pretty well. In fact, the one that was turned out best for me in terms of ads was the middle one. So I don't know. It's hard to predict. Usually,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's just hard to say.
To full disclosure though, you didn't do them all together. There was space, like there was days between them, right?
Maybe a day. I can't remember
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it was over a few days, so it wasn't all at
Yep.
once. Like
Right.
you didn't put out 3 videos in an hour,
Right.
Right.
Right. No, exactly.
And one for Alec. Alec, have you ever become so attached to a commission piece that you had a difficult time giving it to the client?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't really happen I wish it happened more often than it does, but yeah. Yeah, no, there are definitely carvings that I finish making and then I think like it's not even that I want to keep it, it's just that I don't want to get rid of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
know.
anywhere to put it. I don't know anywhere to put it.
Yeah.
But I'm like I like it. So, yeah, there are some carvings like that. But more than not, even just carvings I make in the shop that I'm like, yeah, this one turned out well. I kind of like to keep this, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, you can't keep them all. When I cleaned up my shop here, I have another layer of shelving around the top of my workbench here.
Yeah.
And I took all the carvings off it and put them in a box. just because they just got dusty and cobwebs and stuff, and just put them out of sight.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, but
Mhm.
just on Mark's closing here, it just says, "Have you ever carved faces showing different emotional expressions? A series would be very impressive."
For you or me?
I think it's
Both
both
of
of us,
us.
really. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have not. I don't. I've never done anything that advanced.
Hmm.
Uh, I do think most of my carvings have an identity,
Hmm.
but as far as the well, it's not okay. I don't know. Like, I guess they do have some expression, but I don't change it up. Like, if you got two guys like that, there's obviously a different expression, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But I've never actually made this is what you do to get this. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Those kind of videos I've never
And
done.
the corn that you did is a great example of some of the things that you would account for in in a very like over the top excited expression. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
eyebrows raised, the mouth
yeah,
widens, it broadens, it gets usually it opens, right? So
yeah.
these are
And my
things that we've talked about in the school as well, but on fundamentals of wood carving, but
for sure,
breaking
yeah,
down all the expressions. But there's just like a few key things, right, that you change to
yeah.
give it that look.
I like to. Yeah, I don't do a lot of. That's not true. Everybody has their own expressions. Like,
Yep,
I just put it
right,
on this side, right? But yeah, as far as they just occur, right?
right.
Anyway,
Yep, yep. And
let's.
most of this stuff is like you don't even think about it, right? It's subconscious. Like if you look at a picture and you copy it, you're not thinking, oh, and on a smiling person, the eyebrows are raised this amount and the
They just
mouth
are.
is extended
Yeah,
and widened. You just go, oh, okay, I'll make it a little bit wider here.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That
Cool.
is the mailbag.
You know what that means?
I do.
Media.
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 Wow. I guess you go first because I have to think about it.
Me too. Oh, but look at it. Neither of us were prepared for this. It's like
I
we've
was
done this
not.
before,
I wasn't prepared. What have I been watching?
and yet we still haven't properly prepared for this whole thing. So
Well, last
I
week I
don't
talked
know.
about the caravans, and
Mm-hmm.
this week's little tangent was teardrop trailers.
Ooh,
Little toe behind teardrop trailers.
yeah, cool. I've been into that. You got to
Yeah,
get one for your car, for your truck.
yeah. What
Oh,
my buddy Joe Robinette has a little tiny trailer with a little bed in it. It's a little pretty boxy looking.
mm-hmm.
And he went camping with another guy who had like a regular utility box
Oh,
trailer, but he put
okay. Because
windows
if
in
you
it.
go teardrop camping with another guy and you're both in that teardrop camper,
No,
it might mean something
no,
about
no,
two of you.
no. I'm gonna take my. I'm looking ahead to going camping with my wife. And
Like for instance, if you invited me on a teardrop camping trip with you, I wouldn't
well,
go.
first of all, that would be your dream, not mine.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't go.
That would not happen.
No, unless you unless you smelled good for once.
We
No,
don't
I
have to
wouldn't
worry
go.
about.
I
We
wouldn't
don't have
go.
to worry about this. Yeah, yeah. It's not. But so I watched a bunch of videos on that. But otherwise, oh man, not much of anything, honestly.
Yeah.
I haven't been home in my evenings to be that bored
Right.
to go hunting. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a poor week for media for me this week.
Um. Raymond Kinman. I'll give my fellow brother in carving a shout out because I have been watching him today. Yeah, the Disney carver.
Yes,
Yes. Go ahead. There's a
I
look in your eyes.
yes I lied uh, because I sent you a video to watch.
Hold on.
This is Alec making noise.
I feel like it's been imbalanced this time.
Oh, sorry. I sent you a
Doug,
video
that was Doug.
to
It's 5-2.
the,
6-2.
the YouTube channel, The Pursuit of Wonder.
Hmm.
And I sent you a video called Be a Loser, The Philosophies of Henry David Thoreau. All about the simple life in that. And that channel, I'll say it again, that channel is called The Pursuit. Okay, stop it. The channel is called The Pursuit of Wonder, and they have a lot of philosophical videos,
Pursuit
which
of
are
Wonder.
fantastic. They really get you thinking about what life is and what we're doing here and
Cool.
why not just living instead of trying to be something you're not.
Looks good.
It's wonderful.
Ooh. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't watched it, but maybe I like it.
You didn't watch the video I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I'm just saying I haven't seen much else, so.
Oh, yeah. No, fantastic stuff. So, yeah, I did watch a few of them.
Oh, it looks
There
like
you
I
go.
watched the first 3 minutes of the Bukowski one. The it says "Don't try," the philosophy of Charles Bukowski.
There you go.
But I must not have liked it if I got 2 or 3 minutes anyway. But
Lots of good stuff in there. Hey, I'm going to give a little plug. You
Mhm.
know, I'm cheap as a rule outside of carving tools.
Yep. Right.
But I got sucked in YouTube Premium. I don't know if I talked about this before or not. I don't know if I talked about this before, but I got YouTube Premium, which is like I think $9.99 a month.
Mm-hmm.
No ads, no commercials. So
Yeah.
everybody who complains about the amount of commercials, $9.99, no more commercials. You can just be skipping video to video, but you can press play on a video and turn off your screen of your phone or whatever, put it in your pocket and listen to the videos, and it's amazing. I listen to YouTube videos as much as I watch nowadays. It's been so great. So
Yeah, especially if you're finding these like big long lectures or philosophical talks or
100%.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
it's great. Yep. So
Yep. Well,
shout out to
between
YouTube
Audible
Premium.
and Spotify and oof, I feel like I'd really have to think about that one long and hard.
Spotify is great,
Yep.
but if I didn't have it, I would not miss too much other than some AI telling me what I like.
Oh yeah, you have. I haven't looked at that much since it came out.
Yeah. But I mean, all my podcasts, I can get them anywhere. But
Okay.
apparently I'm paying for a family
Right.
plan
Yep.
that my kids and wife use. So that's why I have Spotify.
Right. I like it for the music, but if you have the YouTube Plus or whatever.
Well, there's yes, there's YouTube Music as well, and also apparently I pay for Amazon Prime as well, which is the movies, which also has a music channel.
Okay.
So I mean, one of these days I'm going to sit down and figure out how many things I need.
Right. Okay, so back to Kinman.
Yes.
Before I lose my train of thought, but this guy, he's the Disney carver. So when you go to Disney, what is it, Disneyland? I don't know I don't know anything about Disney, but apparently when you go somewhere, to think Disneyland, you will see his carvings, and they're like a quintessential part of Disneyland. Like these signs. Actually, this one went up at auction. They replaced it. I think it sold for like $85,000.
Oh my goodness! No, International Association of Woodcarvers had a guy from Disney on there at one time.
Yeah, that was him.
That was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a
Yeah.
full video with him
Yeah,
talking about his work. Yeah.
and there's a great video that Wood Carving Illustrated put out of not wood. I'm sorry. What am I trying to say? Woodcraft put out,
Okay.
and yeah, really enjoyed it. They tripped out to his house, and he's in the redwoods, or in a cedar forest in Lake Tahoe, and yeah, cool story he has. So
Yeah, he's a real artist. That guy.
he is. Yeah,
It's amazing work.
it's cool. And
So,
and the sign that I did recently was inspired by him and gave me an appreciation for that and a love for it. So I'd be open if
oh,
somebody came to me with a sign commission. I would definitely take it.
I
So
saw you posted that on Instagram.
hmm
That I saw that and I looked at it. I said, "Is that just burning, or did you paint
yes,
black?"
no
Wow,
paint.
that's dark, eh?
Yes,
That was really
so
solid.
so fun to do. Well, the torch I used was actually how was it, acetylene or whatever, a real like a welding torch or a soldering torch. So it was really intense, but it was a small flame, so easy to control.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good looking sign.
Thanks. Yeah. So yep. But I can't take credit for the design. I helped him piece things together and size things and clean up the font that he drew. But he was the font drawer, which it's not a small thing to draw a font. It's a big deal.
When I started in construction many moons ago,
Mm-hmm.
signs were still hand painted,
Hmm.
and there were still some old. There's no young sign painters, but
Mm-hmm.
all the sign painters were old guys, and they had a flair, and they could just paint a sign. Like that art is gone. Like
Mm-hmm.
the skill that they had in painting
Mm-hmm.
the fonts in that,
Right.
like, it's amazing.
My old
But
physics teacher, that was his job as a teenager growing up, working with his dad. His dad was a sign carver, and so they would all the local signs around here, like the Addison Township sign, the township that we live near, which I probably shouldn't have
mhm.
said, but is hand carved by good old Dominic Crea, my old physics teacher, and his dad. So it's
There
pretty
you go.
cool. Pretty cool how that was back in the day, right? Did you see that around more often, the hand carved signs, or mostly
Not carved.
the painted
No,
ones?
never carved. Just painted.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
everything was painted. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In fact, I remember people coming to my house. My dad was a roofer,
Mm-hmm.
and coming to my house when my dad switched vans, and they would paint the name on the side of the van and stuff. Yeah. So
No wraps going on. No
no vinyl wrap
vinyl wraps,
stickers.
right?
Nope.
Mhm.
Well, the sound of that guitar means that's a wrap, folks. I think we're gonna squeeze one more in before Christmas.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Take your vitamins. Take them.
All right.